Yes.
All right. Well, it is 12:05, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining. Right off the bat, I want to encourage you all to jump on Facebook if you can. Now, I know not everybody's savvy enough to be able to do both, but jump on Facebook or your favorite social media and invite some more people to this conversation, because we would love to have more people checking out Miss Heather McKinney's story. My name is Leah Patterson. I am the coordinator here at the Rocket Lab, and if you're not familiar with the Rocket Lab, I'm going to take a few seconds just to tell you what we do. We are an entrepreneurial hub for under-resourced entrepreneurs. And so what we do is we provide a wonderful space for under-resourced entrepreneurs to be able to come and work on, start, grow, and scale their businesses. But much more than that, we provide them with the tools, the training, the access to capital, very, very importantly, the access to mentorship, so that they really have what it takes to be able to grow their businesses. And our goal is to change this ecosystem here in our local area so that it's an even playing field, and not even just an even playing field, so that we're creating an entirely new playing field for our entrepreneurs and for our entrepreneurial and economic ecosystem here in the Central Arkansas area. So it's a really great mission. I'm really excited to be a part of it. And part of what we do is offer these educational and inspirational talks with business owners like Miss Heather McKinney, who have inspirational stories. I mean, I don't even know how long we've known each other, Heaven, but it's been a minute. It was before you even started.
Girl, this was in college. I think it was like my junior year in college. So what, 2013 maybe?
Goodness gracious. Yeah, I think it was about then. Yeah. Yep. So just to like see, so I myself, watching somebody like Heaven grow from, when, she was doing other things. And so we're going to talk about that. And then moving into this whole like really awesome business that I myself have always been like, ooh, I've always thought about a coffee shop. And to see you have such amazing success with it is just really exciting. So I'm excited to hear your story. I'm sure that everyone here is excited to hear your story. I want to tell you all, definitely stick around to the end, because we have some cool things coming up in the very near future with the Rocket Lab. So I want you guys to stick around for that. But without further ado, I want to introduce to you all Miss Heather McKinney.
Hey, nice to meet everyone. Leah, Rocket Lab, Central Arkansas Library Systems. I want to say thank you so much for this opportunity. I always have a problem with not saying no, so when Leah was like, hey, you want to do this? I didn't even know what I was saying yes for, but she needed me, and I know she's good people. So I was like, okay, sure.
Great. Well, I'm so glad you said yes, because I mean, we know how just, being able to see ourselves and other people, being able to be inspired by other people's stories, sometimes that's all you need, just to keep going or to even try. And so I'm just really grateful that you took the time, because I know you are really busy right now.
All right.
That you took the time to come out and talk with us. So for those who don't know, which I'm sure there's not very many on the call, but for people watching later on YouTube, tell us what your business is and what you do.
The name of my company is the Grind Coffee Bistro. I started this franchise in 2018. And what we do is I had to figure out a way to bridge our cultural gaps. I never met a stranger in my life, no matter what they looked like, where they came from, it's always been family. So I had to figure out a way, like, how do you bridge a cultural gap? And you use something universal like coffee, you use something universal like tea and food, and offer a very open and relaxing atmosphere for everyone to feel like they're part of our company, part of our family, like they are part of every brick that we use to build each and every location. So yeah, I own a coffee bistro.
That is really cool. See, I mean, and I think, again, that's why I'm so happy for having these kind of conversations, because that's a beautiful mission. And not all businesses realize how important it is to have a mission. And a lot of businesses don't have a mission. And I didn't even cross my mind that really is where the idea came from. Like it's about building community.
Building those cultural gaps in everybody's community, not just people that look like me, but just everyone's community, to be able to come and just know that when you walk in our doors, that it's family always, no matter what you look like, no matter your religious, your political beliefs. You know, we are all family, and we are just one nation, one humanity. And so, hey, let's drink some coffee and, you know, love each other.
Yes, I love it. So I do have a question. Did you always want to start a coffee shop? Where did that idea come from? Or did you have experience in the restaurant business or working in coffee shops?
I was born and raised in Germany. My dad was in the Marines.
Very cool.
So I had the opportunity to travel much of Europe as a child. And so a lot of these little shops like I have were, you know, were like a Saturday morning. We would go to the market, and, you know, they had a lot of these bistros similar to what I have. But no, I never, ever, ever imagined that I was going to be in coffee.
Really?
I actually went to college and got my international marketing degree because I've been a licensed hairstylist for 21 years. And
that's it.
I thought, you know, I was going to work for L'Oreal. I went and got my international marketing degree and started working on my master's, and I was going to go work for L'Oreal and be in the beauty industry. But it wasn't until my senior year of college, and I had to have something to survive. I didn't even drink coffee before then. Okay.
What?
Now, girl, at all until 2014. It was, you know, I have 16 years in the fine dining, management, restaurant industry, but I never drank coffee. And so it was my last semester, and I was like, look, I went downstairs, ULR, you know, I'm a Trojan alumni. I went downstairs in the business department to the Starbucks downstairs, and I looked at the girl, you know, I know her because I would get my juice and stuff. And I was like, girl, I need something to survive. And she's like, well, what do you like? I said, I don't know what I like. So she made me up a caramel concoction through the semester. Ironically, in one of my marketing classes, we had to pull businesses out of the hat and kind of dissect them from the ground up, and, you know, how they got started, when, you know, just basically from beginning to end in one of my senior projects. And I just happened to pick Starbucks at the hat. Never thought about opening one, just happened to pick Starbucks. Wow. And after I'm dissecting them and doing the math, and I'm just like, they're making how much? And where's the competition? Like, you know, you got McDonald's, Burger King, you know, Wendy's, you got Church's, Popeyes, KFC, and Starbucks. Yes. And Starbucks. And I was like, I started doing the math, and I was like, okay, let me see what 1% of what they make annually. Let me see what 1% is. And I did the math, and I was like, I'm cool with 1%. Like, love it. I'll go in there and I would compete against Starbucks, and all I want is 1%, you know? And that's how the dream really got started in the coffee industry, is, you know, doing a project and looking at those numbers and like, you know what? I'm about to start selling coffee.
That is amazing, Heaven. Seriously. And I mean, like, that, especially here, you know, we're a business, like incubator business, you know, like supporting people in business, like to know that, like, you actually did the numbers and figured out, like, okay, is this viable for me? You know, and like, and percentages, knowing the percentages and being, because, you know, a lot of people, they don't think about that when they're first starting their business. They're not thinking, you know, 1% is like a good amount of money, and this would be
off a couple billions, 1%. Girl, what do you mean? Like, and that's at the low end. You know what I mean? I'm not giving myself enough credit on my product, but I was like, I'm gonna go in low. We're gonna start with just 1%. Of course, I will take what I get, but at 1%, I am satisfied in life with 1% of Starbucks money. 1%.
I love that. I love that.
That was absolutely beautiful.
Yes, right, Christian. And that's what I was going to say. If people have comments and questions, you know, I mean, this is an interactive, we've got a nice intimate group. Please feel free to like write them in the chat, raise your hand, and I'll call on you, you know, if you can figure out the tech savviness of raising your hand and, you know, in Zoom, or feel free to, you know, write your comment or your question in the chat, because this is a perfect opportunity to ask Heaven these kind of questions. And goodness gracious, like, you know, with international business marketing, because you were doing international business marketing?
Well, international marketing.
International marketing, okay. And I mean, like right there, just that knowledge and wisdom to say, okay, even though this might seem like a great idea, you know, I'm not going to actually pursue it unless it actually makes fiscal sense. financial
I mean, because
sense.
at the end of the day, I went back to college late, and I didn't have, scholarship, and I was like, dang, I get to pay these student loans. Like, I need a good job.
I need to get for real. Yeah.
Like I need that good job. So I was like, okay, business degree, you can do all right. But I never, like I said, I never thought I would open up my own coffee franchise or even be able to start my own coffee franchise ever.
That is amazing. And I was trying to remember before our conversation what it was you were doing before, and it was hair. You were a hairstylist. Yep. Yes.
I've been licensed for 21 years.
Yes. And just to make that pivot, like what was the how did you make that pivot? Was it just purely because you were like, I'm done, I just don't want to do hair, hair anymore, or this is, more lucrative? Like what was...
The hair industry requires long hours, standing on your feet. I started having problems with my hands, locking up on me from hours of just being there. Saturday mornings is our busy time, but I have an athlete also. And so that's also his basketball days. So I kind of needed to make a switch to where I was able to be off on Saturdays, off on Sundays, so I can travel with my son and support him and, his basketball. And that's one of the reasons why it was like, I really need to find something different besides going, into the beauty industry. And then, I have done it for a long time. And at that point, it was like, it was all about my children, and I had to use that. And so that's what made me go back to college and get my international marketing degree. Was that, they told me my son was going to be 6'9" at his adult height. Girl, I signed up the next day. I don't even know what I want to do, but sign me up and put me in somebody's class and we're going to get it done. And, that's how the journey started, for real. Like,
I love that.
I said, who's 6'9"? They're like, that's your son's adult height, girl. I was like, I'm going to feed that boy doing hair. You know how many haircuts I got to do? So, it was kind of the spark that said, okay, go back to college and get that degree.
I love that. And I think, so there's two different things I want to like bounce off from what you just said. And I'm going to try to follow both of them and not forget, because really great. But so the first thing with you realizing that like hair is not scalable, the way that I'm doing hair and me having to be the person to do, just to do all the services, it was the same thing with me with aesthetics. Like it is, you're trading time for dollars, so being able to make that choice, like, this won't be sustainable or this won't be scalable for me is, I think, again, I mean,
and not really sustainable, because I made great money. I was a great hairstylist, but I just, in order to be able to supply my children with the type of life that they were going towards, it was best for me to just try and find a different industry to where I can still be, just as free, but I also had, the income that would kind of match, when I was in the industry. And I still do hair. My clients, girl, they picky. I still got them, them few that ain't nobody else in their hair, but as a full-time job, I don't do it.
You just wanted something different. And then that's the other thing, your children, because I was going to ask you a little bit later, how has well, first, and you kind of spoke to this already, how has being a mother really affected your choices and decisions as a business owner and navigating that world as a business owner?
I mean, being a mom in any industry or any job is already, hard enough, because, I used to feel bad about having to take my son to daycare and, not being there to pick him up until 5. And, so, my thing with being a mom and being a business owner, it kind of motivates me to be able to get out there and not only allow me to have a life to where I can spend more with my kids, but even my employees. I encourage taking them time off. I encourage, going on vacations, taking trips, just all that is what I encourage my employees to do with their children. Because like I said, when they get older, that's all we got. So my kids have really been, from the oldest to the youngest, have really been my motivation on, I had a great life growing up in Europe. My dad sacrificed for our country as a Marine to allow me and my sisters to be able to grow up into an amazing country. And I just want to make sure that my children, and even children that I mentor, children that I coach on my basketball team, I just want to make sure that they know that this is not the limits. The sky is amazing. The sky is huge, and hard work, and they see the growth in me. So it makes them want to work hard. It makes them want to accomplish things. And so, like I said, I think my kids and all the kids that I coach and I've adopted along the way, I think those are my motivations. That's my gas that keeps me going, because they always like, hey coach, how's the coffee shop? And you know, their little face would probably be crushed if I said I closed the coffee shop down. They wouldn't understand, like why? You know? So I think, you know, they keep me on my toes and they keep me going. And I'm always thankful for the kids.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, it's good, because having that motivation is so important, especially in like a year like last year, I can imagine. You know? So how did you, like, you know, I mean, I was so happy. I was rooting for you to make it through the pandemic, you know, like what was that process like?
You know, there is no real word to explain how to feel during that pandemic. I can't even open a dictionary and read every word to find a word that really described the exact emotions and the exact feeling during the pandemic. Me and a lot of other business owners, especially brick and mortar, we were in a period of the unknown. We didn't know how long things were going to last. We didn't know how our economy was going to be affected after, you know, we became what they call normal again. And I just had to get up. That's how I survived. I mean, we were shut down for 9 weeks, and I just got up. Every morning I got up and did my normal routine. I drove out to my coffee shop and unlocked my door and went in there and made a pot of coffee. And if I stayed 20 minutes, if I stayed 30 minutes, I got up, you know. And I think just continuing my daily routine is what really, when it was time to say, okay, we got to unlock these doors, you know, we just got to do it. I think that it made it just a little bit easier on my mental, because it was still part of my routine. And I was just overflowing with love from the community, faces that I've never seen. It just was an amazing outpour of just support from our community, for our small business owners, for just everyone that really has affected. And I think this is the first time me living in America where I can finally say America came together during this pandemic. I mean, girl, I used to have people dropping toilet paper off of my front step, just, you know, just neighbors, just being family at a time when nobody knew what went on. So I think, you know, that's what really got me through, is just that, you know, we were humanity for one time in our lives. We could finally say that we were all on an equal playing field and we were all just trying to survive. That's it.
Yeah. Wow. That's just great. Like Tiffany just said something beautiful in the chat that I want to read. Miss Tiffany Baker, how are you?
Hey,
she says, heaven, from now years of knowing and watching your growth. I'm so proud of you. You are the definition of perseverance and dedication.
Oh, girl, you know I love you too. You know I love you. You one of the goats. You keep us motivated. You keep us going, and we really appreciate you, Tiffany Baker. So don't ever think that your crown ain't sitting straight, because we need you too, and we thankful for you every day in the business community, for sure.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. I love it. But yeah, that perseverance, and I think, you know, the importance or like, you know, how valuable, like staying in your routine when it might have felt like there's no purpose, there's no reason for me to stay in my routine. You know, it would have been so easy just to crumble or just to be like,
girl, because I had to call my therapist. I was on the phone, like when they shut us down March 13th, I was on the phone like, girl, that's all I said. I had nothing else. I'm just like, girl. And she's just like, calm down. You know, that's all I can say to her. You know what I'm saying? And it was a day-by-day process. But, you know, like I said, we got through it. You know, we're not out in the clear, but, you know, we can see our heads poking up out the water. You know what I mean? So
I love it. And so I have a question. So, okay, well, great. We're gonna ask LaShonda's question first, and then we'll piggyback to mine. Okay, awesome. But LaShonda's question is, what advice would you give new business owners?
Hey, LaShonda. New business owners, what advice I would do is, it's important, especially during this time, is to be knowledgeable about your product. Be knowledgeable about your product and be knowledgeable about your market. We are every day is something different. You know, I turn on the TV and 1 minute we got this going on. I turn on the TV the next day, we got this going on. You know, the internet and social media has made it to where there's so many options and people can go out there and seek so many things. So it's important that, like I said, be knowledgeable of your product, know your market, and plan. Plans and people, I don't like to make plans like people like, oh, you want to go here, you want to go there. I really don't like to make those type of plans because things happen. But when it comes to business, I like to put it on a piece of paper. I hate typing stuff out. I got a notebook. I write all my plans down. I write goals down, because the thing with that notebook is you can get a pen, and if something goes wrong, girl, you can scratch that plan out and alter it. You see what I mean? And it's important that you have that ability to see something on a piece of paper and not so much on your phone and on your laptop, but something to where you have a tangible piece of paper that has your accountabilities on there, to where when you start going astray, you can look at that paper and get that red pen like when you was in school and mark through it and make sure you have something else in the place of the markings. But as long as you're constantly planning, constantly adjusting, constantly, going out there and seeing how you can improve your product, how can you reach different markets? How can you expand your target market is also important, like how can I reach those people that I'm not reaching with this product? I think all that is important for a new business owner, and to relax. You know what I mean? Just relax and work hard and just let things happen.
I love that. Yeah. And then also we have programs, right? So are you a Remix Ideas, the Business Academy graduate, right?
I am proud graduate, class of 2021.
Yay. and that's another thing, everything you said is just, and I want to say that it's from your experience and from your background that all these things. It's so many people, they just don't, they start and they have none of this information. And so how was the Business Academy in that sense? Was it do you think for somebody starting out that it's a good foundation for that?
The Business Academy is awesome, and it's so great that Benito offers that. And if y'all don't know about the Business Academy, if y'all haven't signed up about the Business Academy, please reach out, go to the Rocket Lab, get all of that, because it's awesome. I was lucky that I went and got a business degree, not knowing that I was going to be in business, not knowing I was going to be an entrepreneur. So for me, the Rocket Lab, I love getting knowledge from different people, from different what's the word to look from? Just different
perspectives, resources.
Yeah, perspectives and different lifestyles and different jobs, and so a lot of it was just refresher course. Some of it was like, girl, I forgot all about that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I took tons of screenshots. I use a lot of that in, because you get, as a business owner, sometimes you have so much, when you don't have a team and you don't have that marketing, you get so much knowledge that you'll forget some things. You'll forget that is the tool that you needed all this time. You sitting here just hammering that nail and it ain't going in. And then you remember, he's so right. That's exactly what I needed. And so the whole program was one of those type of things for me. And I enjoyed waking up on Saturdays at 9 a.m. and logging in, seeing what information we had. So I think it was great. It was really a great program to have. And I can't wait to see it grow. You know what I mean?
Yes. We can't wait to have it grow either. I think our next installment, will be actually live here at the Rocket Lab. So that will be really exciting.
Yeah, so it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, like Kevin said, if anybody's interested in the Business Academy, definitely reach out to myself or Benito, or go to our website, the COWS website, which I'll make sure I put that information up at the end of our conversation. Now, I had a quick question I wanted to ask you, and then there's another question here in the chat. But my question was, so you're expanding now, which is so exciting. So how did you make that decision? How did you know it was time to expand?
I don't. Crazy enough. You know what I mean? I don't. I have always been the one about opportunities. Carpe diem. It's always been a motto of mine. Seize the day, I love it. And when I got approached, well, okay, let me tell you how it happened, because it might sound crazy that I'm opening up 2 locations kind of at the same time. But I found the first location over in the Petaway community off of Soma. They're doing a lot of, rebuilding out there, and they're adding shopping plazas and things to the community. So I decided to get in on a location over there. I never thought I was going to have Markham this quick. The guy that sold me the business out there actually came to me and was like, hey, I have a business over off Markham that's fully furnished. So I go look at the place and it's ready to go. I mean, of course I got to put me on it, but it's ready to go. And so it was kind of like one of those opportunities that even with the location I'm in now, it was an opportunity. I never, ever thought that I would be in Pleasant Ridge. That was never even a location in which I looked to open up a coffee shop.
Wow.
It was an opportunity, and it was opportunity to change my life, and it was opportunity to change my children's life. And I went ahead and took it. And just like with my expansion, I talked to God and I listened and I just do what he tells me to do. And he kind of put them in the right place at the right time. And I just couldn't say no.
I love it.
Couldn't say no.
I think that's such a beautiful point of, and I think, pointing this out too, you were prepared for the opportunity when it showed up, so always being in that space. Yes. Be in that place where you're ready, and so when opportunities show up, like you said, there may be fear around it. There may be, uncertainty, but it just feels right. You have that conversation, you talk to God and you're like, you know what? I can do this. I love it. It's well, if your success has been any indication, those will be amazing successes. I know I can't wait till both of them open up because I live on this side of the city.
I can't wait because people been telling me for a long. It's like, girl, come into the city more. We don't like driving out there, so I'm coming into the city. But now I'm gonna be a little closer to everybody, so we don't got to burn all that gas to visit.
Yes, I know. I will be loving it.
Yes.
So Mr. Tim Turner, he asked, well, first he says, congratulations on your success. What advice would you give someone who is aspiring to start a storefront location? What platform do you use to build your brand? So 2 questions.
Okay, brick and mortars are so tricky, and it depends on your product. It depends on your product. If you have a product where people are coming as an exclusivity, where they're coming to seek you because you the guy, you do it, that's one thing. But if it's a product to where people don't know about you and you have to get your word out, location is everything. Location. A lot of times when I'm looking for locations, I just sit outside at different times throughout the day and just see how the traffic is and see who the people are and see if people are walking, if they're driving, if they're riding their bikes. That right there is most important, is location. Google it. You can Google it. Google will tell you all sorts of things that you don't know. That is my go-to. Like, I don't even argue with people anymore. I just Google. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to argue. We're just going to talk to Google, and Google's going to go ahead and tell us what it is. So with brick and mortars, location. You want to keep your overhead low. You don't want to go into a property to where, you're paying all this thousands just to be in here, and that's another thing. You got to make sure that in your business plan that you got your overhead for your rent or for your mortgage set out for 6 months, because it takes that much sometimes to be able to even afford to pay your rent. So if you can find a spot that is, low in your rent and you can keep your overhead low there on that brick and mortar, that is probably the smartest thing I would say is keep your overhead low. I'm in the coffee industry, so I just do what Starbucks do. They find 1,200 square feet or less and open up. That's the platform that I use. And one thing that I learned in business school, and it's probably been the best thing that I've ever used. And people, when I laugh, because people might say, "Oh, that's cheating," but you know what? It's called the piggyback method. You know what I mean? Like, you go out there and you find somebody, whether they're in California, whether they're in Houston, you go out there and you find somebody that's doing the exact same thing that you're doing, and find out how they're doing it, how they're surviving, how they're being successful, and then incorporate that into you. And I mean, that probably has had to be like the best thing that I've ever learned was the piggyback method, is to go out there and seek somebody in your industry, seek somebody who's out there rocking it, it don't even have to be no one local. And then just use what they're using and do it. Because I promise they probably did the same thing. I'm pretty sure they did the same thing,
I think that's great advice. It's, it's making sure that you check out your competition and take what works instead of trying to reinvent the wheel,
Yeah.
I like it. And actually that was going to be one of my next questions is, so you don't just sell coffee, right? You have like these awesome like lunches. I look at your website at the Facebook page, and I'm like, I'm missing out. So how did you make the decision? How did those decisions evolve? And did you start off always offering different things, or how have you kind of, evolved with that over time?
Moving up to Pleasant Ridge, if you're familiar with the area, it's not one of the cheapest areas in Little Rock to have a business, but we were blessed to be there, and we still are, and we're growing. But it was kind of like because let's go back. I started the first little small coffee shop upstairs from my day spa in Sherwood. I had a day spa on the bottom, and then I turned the upstairs into a little coffee house, and it was just where we sold coffee and treats and just simple, no food or anything like that. Just a little small place that I had to be able to get to my customers when they came in to get their services done.
Yeah.
When I came out to Pleasant Ridge, it was kind of one of those things now where I was like, oh, wow, I didn't already sign this lease, And I get ready and I start doing the math on coffee. Like, okay, how many cups of coffee do I got to sell? I was like, oh my gosh, that is a lot of coffee. And I'm like, I ain't quite there at that 1% of Starbucks yet. So I had to figure out like, oh my gosh, like I had to figure out like what else can I do in this space to where I can pair my love for coffee with my love for food. And that's when the combination of the both came in. I just used all of my years in the restaurant industry, years with my traveling, my favorites, and kind of paired it together to where people can come in and get an experience of the both. So that's kind of how the food became incorporated into the coffee shop and how we became a bistro instead of a actual coffee shop.
Oh, I love it. And I just love how everything is research-based.
Girl, numbers don't lie. Yes. Like, I'm a numbers person. Like, what these numbers say, numbers do not lie.
I love it. I mean, that if anybody's wondering about like what advice to take away, that's something you need to write down. Your numbers got to make sense.
Yes. If them numbers don't look right, it ain't right. Like, can't nobody tell you plus and minus. If it don't make sense, hey, go with the numbers. Always go with the numbers. Even if you feel it in your heart, go with the numbers.
Yes, that's great advice, because a lot of entrepreneurs, and we have a lot of creative entrepreneurs here at the Rocket Lab that we work with too. And so sometimes, it's, and I mean, not just creative entrepreneurs, you have a feeling in your heart and you're like, oh, I think this is going to be great. But those numbers, you got to make the numbers make sense. Yes.
The numbers. And then, if you do the numbers in that hobby that you have, you do the numbers and it doesn't show that it's going to be marketable or worth the time or the energy, find a way to incorporate something else into it that's going to make up for that slack. That's going to take up those extra numbers. Sometimes when you have a hobby or you have something that you wanted to turn into a business as a new business owner, your idea, not wrong, but there might be something else that you need to add to that idea to make it a dream or to make it a reality. And so that's why you got to be creative. And like I said, Google, go Google, I Googled a lot, like coffee shops in California, coffee shops in Denver, seeing what they're doing in other areas where they're kind of similar to us, but it's a bit different, and so you got to Google, and the world is big, reach out and Google coffee shops in Nova Scotia, or just, you have to just, like I said, reach out and see what everyone else is doing. And it makes it so much easier. It does, but numbers. Trust the numbers.
Trust the numbers. I love that. So the other question that Tim was asking, and I was going to ask that also, was about your marketing. What platform do you mostly use? Do you feel like has been the most successful for building your brand?
Oh, well, when I started the Grind Coffee Bistro, I had $600 in my name. That's it.
Wow.
I was a waitress. At the time, I worked in fine dining, and I was a fine dining waitress. And I just used all my money and just kind of put it back into the business. I started small, and, I just kept funneling it back. And the main thing that I noticed marketing-wise that really worked for us is word of mouth. Customer service. I don't care about people always saying the customer's not always right. Yeah, they are. They still are, and they will continue to be if you want to have a successful business. That was the main thing, is just customer service, making sure people was informed when they walked in. I didn't look like a Starbucks. I didn't have tons of retail and coffee and all this, but at the same time, I had a great product, I had a great vision, and I had a great story. And that's what a lot of my customers and my continuing customers love about the Grind Coffee Bistro. is that I was just a single mom, you know, $600 is all I had. And I just had a dream and I had motivation and I used it. Word of mouth is always and will always, to the end of business, be the number one marketing tool out. Second, I will go with the Facebook. Facebook has been amazing for us. You know, Facebook allows you to be able to target your market. Facebook also allows you to be able to, if you have a special or something going on and I just need a quick spoof on this ad, I can target my area, target the age, target who I want to see it, whether it's men, whether it's women, and then shoot that blast to them. And it's pretty inexpensive also when it comes to Facebook. But really, you know, besides, you know, flyers and, you know, really small literature like that, those are the only two platforms that I've used in the 3 years of our growth.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, that's amazing. I mean, that's great. And I think that also speaks to, you know, just knowing kind of what's going to work for your target market. You know, and initially you might have to do some research. You might have to try a little bit, spend some time here, spend some time there. But if you know where your customers are, where they hang out, you know, what platforms they hang out on, and you know kind of where they get their information from. So like with food and coffee, it would make sense that people would get their information from each other, you know, from others, you know. So
yeah,
that makes a lot of sense.
And, you know, and of course, Instagram. Instagram is attached to my Facebook. So when I post to Facebook, it automatically posts to Instagram. If you're kind of in the younger generation, I've noticed that they like Facebook a lot. I mean, the Instagram a lot more, you know. So if your target market tends to be the younger, you know, 19 to I say about 26, 27, they love Instagram, you know. But Facebook, you know, Facebook is really where a lot of, you know, my target market is, and we've been real successful just on that alone.
That is awesome. So I wanted to kind of move over to kind of, you know, what have been some of the challenges, you know, what have been some of the struggles that you've overcome, and especially as a Black woman in business, because, you know, this is a male, this, you know, that's one of the things that we're in the process of hoping to make the change around, is that this is still a very male dominated ecosystem, you know, so.
Yeah. You know, the challenges, and, you know, I'm going to come to you guys just real, you know, like I said, born and raised in Europe. I've never seen color, you know, I just know people as people. But as a Black business owner, one of my main challenges is just the change in the mentality of people that walk into my coffee shop. I'm in a predominantly, you know, Caucasian area. And in the beginning, you know, it was kind of shocked when they walked in the door and saw a Black coffee shop owner, because I'm the only in Central Arkansas, you know, and maybe further than that. I really hadn't done the research, but, you know, and when they walk in, and sometimes, you know, it was hard in the beginning because it was kind of like they were just like, do we walk in, you know, and I, you know, and as soon as I say, good morning, how you doing? It kind of gave them at ease. So I think that was probably the hardest thing in the beginning, is to not be upset and to be more understanding of the times and of the area and of the perceptions that people had. And, you know, people walk in as strangers and they walk out as family. You know what I mean? Like, by the time they finish that cup of coffee, girl, I know everything about people. Like, you know, we're hugging and, you know, we're planning our next coffee visit. So in the beginning, I think that was the hardest right there, is that people weren't used to seeing me in coffee. You know, they weren't used to seeing you know, a woman for one, but a Black woman owning a coffee shop was kind of, you know, they were a little taken back by that. But that was probably, you know, one of the most, the one that kind of touched the most, because it took a lot of prayer to be able to say, you know what, this ain't my area, you know, but, you know, that's my family and that's my neighborhood, and, you know, it is what it is, you know. Another big problem was seeking capital. Capital in business is the hardest. And I tell everyone, especially the young ones, that they're out there, if they ever watch this, watch your credit. You know what I mean? Be credit conscious now. Not saying that you got to have perfect credit to get any kind of help with business or any kind of financing, but it does make it that much easier. Like I said, to this day, I still haven't been to the bank for a loan yet. I've been lucky enough to where I've been able to just use my business. I sacrificed a lot of my personal life so that my business was able to grow and get to the level so I won't have to sacrifice anymore. But I'm just now at the point to where now I'm seeking capital for this growth. And I think those probably had to be the two most challenging things that I had to face so far in business. Will there be others? Yes. You know, the bigger you get, girl, the more challenges there'll be. And it's I think those have really been the two hardest, you know, but like I said, we're growing now. We're at the point now so we can go out and seek the money that's needed to grow this franchise. And I mean, I'm just excited for just the growth and the opportunity and just the opening of the doors and changing lives and inspiring communities. You know, it's just overwhelming sometimes, but you know, that's what it's really all about.
I love it so much. So, I mean, I know you've given advice for business owners in general. Do you have any advice for Black women or women in general? Because it is a little different, you know, us standing out there as business owners.
You know, women, I would say keep your heads up and keep our crown straight. You know, my dad would always use this, you know, every time me and my sisters would do something like stupid or dumb that we didn't use our brain, you know, he would always say, a mind is a terrible thing to waste, you know. We are strong, we are gracious, we are powerful. And we have to know that every day when we wake up that we know this, you know. And I think that's most important. Like, you know, like with cars, for instance, you know, yeah, I don't change tires, but I know how to change a tire, you know. So when a man wants to change my tire, yeah, change that tire, but don't get it twisted. I can change it if I need to. You see what I mean? So we have to have that attitude to where we still approach men and we approach business as that same thing. Like y'all had y'all run, it's been great, but now it's our turn. And have that attitude, you know, always have that attitude. And I think that's most important is know that we are mothers and a lot of us are mothers, a lot of us are sisters, a lot of us are friends. We don't give ourselves enough credit for us being who we are. And take more time on yourself, learn to say no, learn to set boundaries and keep those boundaries. And just go out and do it every day. You know, don't worry about being a woman. I like say, you know, people say all the time, like, why don't you tell people you're Black owned? You see me? You know what I'm saying? That doesn't define who I am as a businesswoman because I do business, you know? So I really don't think I should have to go out there and tell people that I am proud to be a Black woman. Every day that I walk around, I am proud to be a Black woman. But we got to start knowing that, yeah, I'm a Black woman, but we are women and we are business women. And just, hey, carry them crowns straight. You know what I mean? When you walk in the business, I don't care if I'm the only woman in the room. Somebody gonna pull that chair out first. And for second, let's do this business.
Yes. I love it.
Simple as that.
Not that, for that. Yes.
Who's getting this chair is the first thing. Second of all, let's go and get this meeting going, you know?
Heck yes. I love it. Oh my goodness. And kind of in that vein, because you said we don't celebrate ourselves enough.
Yes, celebrate a woman. Celebrate
what
yourself.
are some of your accomplishments that you are most proud of?
Oh my gosh, I have had tons of accomplishments throughout my life, you know. Most proud of, I would say, is being a mom because I was 27 when I had my son. Irresponsible though. I was a runway model. I didn't wake up before noon. I was irresponsible. You know, I was, and I'm gonna say that. So when God like kind of said, okay, it was one of those things like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do with the child? You know, I was a great aunt, but mom, you know, like I can drop my nieces off at the end of the day, but now this little person is me. It belongs to me. And I think, and it sounds crazy, but I think one of my best accomplishments, like I said, is being a mom and remembering, don't leave the kid. You know what I mean? Like that was my accomplishment. Like as long as girl, don't leave the kid. Don't leave the kid. So I mean, just on a funny note, you know what I'm saying? Being a mom is probably like the biggest accomplishment that I could have ever done. Because never in a million years, I didn't think, you know, doctors told me I was never going to have children. So to be able to be a mom today and to be able to show them that, you know, the sky's the limit and work hard and you can have anything in life if you put your mind to it, I think that's one of the biggest accomplishments. And then second accomplishment will probably be, like I said, going out there and follow my dreams. You know what I'm saying? Going out there and being fearful, but still doing it. Do I think I might fail? Maybe, but I would never know unless I go out, and if I fail, I'm just gonna get up and do something else, I mean, it's not gonna be the end of life. Failure is part of growth. And I failed in the beginning of the grind. There was days when I didn't make no money, where I didn't know if I was gonna be able to pay the light bill. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's been my bread and butter since June of 2018. And so to be able to grow and to be able to say that, I did it. I sacrificed and I worked hard to get to where I am, I think it's probably one of the second best accomplishments after being a mom, because being a mom is pretty awesome.
Yes. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. So we're nearing to the end, but I want to ask one more question just about your future goals. So what do we, what can we look forward to from Ms. Heaven McKinney and the Grind Coffee Bistro? I know you're expanding, but
yes.
Anything?
I'll go ahead and tell you about our expansion. We started our expansion in Central Arkansas, and we'll have one location, 21st and Commerce, in the Petaway community. That's going to be kind of like a neighborhood market. You can come out and get, your bread and cheese, your milk, we'll have a meal prep to where you can come and grab meals that we make over at our West Little Rock location. We'll have them available over there to where you can take home, pop them in the oven, prepare them in the microwave, cook them on the stove. And of course, our great coffee. We'll have amazing coffee to purchase at that location. We're also moving to West Markham, 801 West Markham. That's going to be our fall and winter rollout. And that one's going to be a coffee shop during the day. And at night, we're going to turn it into a coffee bar to where you can still, we get a lot of people that work late, and sometimes a glass of wine and some, work at night in a great atmosphere is what a lot of people need. And we want to be able to offer that also. So yeah, coffee shop during the day and amazing coffee shop at night. And we're still looking to expand. We're looking into Bryan. Conway is another area that we've been looking at, looking for great real estate. My goal is 100 coffee shops, and then I'm done. After I get, I got 97 more. So after I get to 100, then I'm done. I'm gonna go ahead and live out my total dream, and that's when I start my political career, because I've always wanted to be Speaker of the House. First woman speaker, but Nancy Pelosi took that. But it's all right. I'm gonna go on with the black, but I've always wanted to be speaker ever since I moved to America. Newt Gingrich was always just a weird guy, and he's always just, kind of, attached himself to me over life. I know it's weird. Yeah, Newt Gingrich, I know it's weird, yes, but I always wanted to be speaker. I always thought that was the coolest job ever to have. Not president, that's too much work, not vice president, but I'll take third in command, you know what I mean? I'm good on that. So, after I finish my 100, that's next. And as I get to that stage, I'll be entering, my hat in some local politics, and we're just gonna let it go from there.
Wow, that is exciting, Heaven. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I cannot wait to see all of those things blossom.
Yeah, for sure. So, look for me, Heaven McKinney,
but you have a perfect name for it. It sounds like a name that should be on a political billboard.
Yeah, like let's do this. Let's change America. Let's build gaps. You know what I mean? Let's just live. So yeah. Yes.
Oh my goodness. Well, this has been amazing for me. I'm sure for our audience. Like, thank you all for
so much
being here.
For sure.
Yeah, LaShonda says so inspiring, which
thank you, girl.
Is exactly what I would have said.
For sure. And also, outside of this, if y'all ever need to just want to talk or questions or anything, like, you can always feel free to come into the grind, and talk, and we can chit chat, and any way that I can help, I will love to help. But yeah, seriously, like I said, just reach out. Don't feel scared. You know what I mean? Don't feel scared. I'm not one of those ones where, oh, you have to pay me for my knowledge. Like, girl, I Googled it too. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't pay for that knowledge. Google gave me that. So if I'm able to, at least put you in a direction to where you're able to succeed, or I know people that can help, I'm always there for you, for real. Because like I said, somebody had to be there for me in order for me to get to this point. So I just feel like it's just paying it forward.
Yes. Oh my goodness. That's just so beautiful, Heaven. Thank you so much.
You're welcome,
Thank you for giving us this hour, just sharing your wisdom and your brightness and your beauty. It's just been awesome. So
thank you, girls, so much. And thanks to everybody else for attending on y'all lunch break,
Yes. Thank you all so much. And just really quick, I want to remind you all that we do these conversations once a month. So we have inspiring conversations with inspiring business owners. We have another one coming up in August. So be sure to check out our website. I'm going to put the information here, but it's, I'm going to try to say it as I write it. cals.org/rock-it-lab. And let me make sure I send it to everybody. And if you go there, you'll see all of our upcoming programs. They'll all be listed as they, you know, we get them up on the website. The biggest news for Rocket Lab is that our grand opening will be July 22nd. So you guys can come to our ribbon cutting. I don't know if Tiffany's still here, but yes, we're gonna have a ribbon cutting with the Little Rock Chamber. It's gonna be just a really fun, exciting event to actually be opening our doors. And that's going to be July 22nd, 11 o'clock. And again, if any of you all need help growing, starting, scaling your businesses, know that we are one of your resources. Please go to our website, sign up for a consultation, sign up for mentorship. We can't wait to help you. And I think I'm going to let you guys go for this afternoon. I just want to read some of these comments. Awesome. I enjoyed it. This was really good. Blessings to the Grind Coffee and Bistro. Congratulations on all of your well-deserved success.
Thank y'all so much. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your afternoon. Bye-bye, and see you at the next one.